Hi, I'm Matt Wiederhold with Main Street Medina. Welcome back to another edition of Medina Minute. Won't you join me inside to meet some of the faces, places, and businesses around the Medina Square? Well, good afternoon, Joanie. Thanks for joining me today and sitting down for a while. So you are the owner of Half Moon Yoga and the
Correct.
store manager of Second Soul. So you're working both sides of the square here. How did you, first of all, what brought you to Medina?
My husband's career, he worked for News Channel 5
Okay.
and wanted to be on the air in Cleveland, where he was from. He was originally news anchor in Indiana.
Oh, cool.
So we moved back to Cleveland back in 1997.
Yeah.
And I worked for the state of Ohio for a while, 13, 14 years, something like that, and practiced yoga on my lunch break. And then, I don't know, maybe 10 or so years into my practice, I decided I wanted to become a teacher.
Yeah.
So I took some training, and 3 days after I graduated from my teacher's training, I opened up Half Moon Yoga.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Kept the state job for a year and a half or 2 years. The studio was originally down on Route 42. It rented some space at a karate studio.
Okay.
And then about a year and a half later, it was time to get my own space. And I knew I could find a space somewhere in Medina.
Yeah.
Lucky enough to find the space on the square.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So how long have you been down here then?
About 10 years.
Okay.
10 and a half. Studio has been open 12 and a half years. It was 12 years in June. Proud of that.
What, when you worked for the state, if you're allowed to tell me, what did you do?
I worked at a state developmental center, and I advocated for people with disabilities.
Oh,
Kind of
cool.
improve their lives as best I could.
Yeah. So is that how you got into yoga, or is that just a way for you to exercise?
I've always been into health and wellness,
Yeah.
and I was just adding something new to my fitness regime. Stumbled upon yoga, took one class, loved it,
Yeah.
and it's been in my life pretty much ever since.
What is it that you love about it?
Well, like most people, I signed up for yoga to become more flexible.
Okay.
Then once you go to yoga and you find out all the other benefits, as a matter of fact, when I was teaching today, I was smiling, thinking about all the benefits of a yoga class. So you get a lot of, you stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system, so you feel really good. It makes you feel really good. It's very calming. It helps you manage stress a lot easier. So those are some of the physiological benefits. And then it also makes you stronger, your bones, your muscles stronger, makes your lungs stronger. We practice a lot of breathing exercises. So it's just a really good package of health and wellness.
Yeah.
So very easy to connect with. There's all sorts of types of yoga. So for the most part, there's something for everybody. Even I work with a guy who's disabled. You know,
wow,
we
cool.
can do some yoga.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of things that yoga offers.
So what's your recommendation, or how do you introduce yoga to maybe somebody who's never done it, that thinks it's incense and like Buddha and Om, and how do you approach a new person to yoga that doesn't have a darn clue what it is?
Right, so everything I just said to you, usually just like, yeah, whatever. I love running 500 miles. That's what I love doing. So basically, they have to experience it. So if,
Right.
and I say this all the time to people who call me, who say they're nervous, they want a private because they're embarrassed. You have to come and you have to experience it. And make sure you come to the right class. I always tell my more advanced students, don't bring your best friend to a vinyasa class. That's the most athletic one.
Okay.
You'll never see them back again. So you have to start in the right class. At my studio, we have a nice variety of classes. So again, there's something for almost everybody there. So you come to class, we put you in the right class. We offer a week unlimited, so you can try different things.
Cool.
Say you come to my class and my voice annoys you, or you just don't like my style of teaching. You know, you can try this person, and this person.
Yeah.
So basically, you know, talk with the teacher, talk with the studio owner, find out what the best class is for you. You know, I always ask people, you know, do you have any injuries? Why are you coming? And then steer them in the right direction. If you show up for the wrong class, you may hate yoga and never come back.
Yeah.
So the number one thing is finding the right studio and finding the right class to start in.
Okay. So what is it about this town and this district that made you want to have your studio here as part of this?
Well, I lived here for one thing.
Yeah.
there wasn't much yoga here. So I was like, yay, I'm going to be the first one offering yoga in Medina. And the first studio was a mile and a half from my house.
Yeah.
So it was very convenient. So I just thought this was a good market to start
Okay.
it, and there wasn't much back then.
Was there something about the district though that said to you, I want to be here? Or was it just a good space that was affordable at the time?
Yeah, it was a good space.
Okay.
I wanted it in my town. I had commuted for, I'm not gonna lie, I had commuted 40 miles
Yeah.
for many years. So there was no other place that I was gonna teach yoga but in my town,
Sure.
in my
Well, that's
hometown where I
cool.
lived, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your role with Second Soul. So you're doing flexibility yoga stuff on the south side of the square, north side of the square. You're selling running shoes, and what else happens?
So it works really well. So how the whole thing started is Second Soul, the original Second Soul is in Youngstown, in Boardman, where I grew up. Was a customer there since I was 20 years old.
Okay.
Became friends with the owner. So when I wanted to make this transition, he hired me to earn some money while I was building that business.
Okay, cool.
And it wasn't here in Medina, it was in Lyndhurst. And then, long story long, this business that was in Medina, the Second Soul, wasn't doing well. Steve bought it back, and then I was able to start working at this store because he owned it. So that worked out perfect.
Now, how long has this store been here? Because I remember when
On
I
the
first
square.
started here in 2008. No, when we moved here, I think in 2010, the night that we moved, the building that was there
Burned.
caught fire and essentially burned down.
Exactly.
You know, and then it was rebuilt and kind of restored to
Right.
what it is today.
Right.
So you've been there since 2011, maybe?
I think we've been on the square for 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it was 7 years in April. So that's a cute story too. I love talking about all this stuff because it's kind of my life. So anyway, that store, the original Second Soul was down by Home Depot.
Okay.
And I would
didn't realize that,
teach and then go to the Second Soul down by Home Depot.
Yeah.
So I was teaching the night the building burned. I remember hearing
wow.
the sirens, and then the building sat for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And our lease was going to be up, and I drove by the burned building, and I saw a big sign saying 620 construction. The next day I drive by, I see a sign that says 620 leasing. I'm like, Steve, I think they're leasing that building on the square. That might be a good place for us. Drive by again. No, it says construction. It doesn't say leasing. I made a mistake. Well, there's two signs. One says construction and one says leasing.
Yeah.
So Jim Gao, I don't know if you know who he is,
Sure,
super
yeah,
nice
absolutely.
guy, tracked him down, took a few phone calls for him to pay a little attention to us, said we were interested in the building on the square.
Yeah.
Initially he was like, oh, it's only 1,000 square feet. It's not big enough for your store. I'm like, it's bigger than 1,000 square feet. So he finally met with us. He goes, I was mistaking, the upstairs is 1,000 square feet. So
Yeah.
long story long, we made the deal. We were able to build that space just right to our specifications. We met with Jim and his architect every week. That's why it's so pretty, or every month, about once or twice a month.
Yeah.
And made that, he renovated it right to our specifications, and now we have that beautiful space that
That's
we're kind of
fantastic.
outgrowing, but we're staying because we love
Yeah.
it. Jim's a great partner for us, and building's beautiful.
So it sounds like you're an incredibly busy woman. Do you ever get time off? Do you ever get to go away?
No, not much. I work a lot.
What do you do to relax?
My yoga and my running, and I
Okay.
lift at home.
Yeah.
Fitness has been in my life since I was a young child. So in the mornings I'll run and lift. Then I get I get a decent amount of calm from my teaching.
Yeah,
It really
I bet.
relaxes me. And then every now and then I'll sneak off to a class myself and be the student.
Yeah.
So basically that's what I do to relax.
Growing up, was your family very athletic, or did you have siblings that were in sports and you kind of got into it that way, or is it just you were born, you
Yeah,
came out
I
fighting?
signed up for swim team and then when I was 9, and that was the end of it. I just loved it. Played tennis, started running to be better at tennis and swimming, connected with the running, then needed something new, so I added the yoga. So it works.
Do you think things seem to go in cycles, and kind of what's hot today may not be hot in 2 years, 5 years? You've had really great luck sustaining the yoga studio. What do you think is on the horizon for fitness? I mean, are people, and with everything going on in the world, are people coming out to classes? Are they more staying home and doing online tutorials?
Well, I'll start first with the running. The running and the Second Soul is doing really well. More people are running. We sell things besides running shoes, water shoes. So their activity level has really increased, which is good for them and good for us.
Yeah.
Studio, not so much. We have a mixed clientele. Definitely have some older people that are fearful of coming into the studio.
Yeah.
So they're keeping in touch, but they're like, no, I'm still not ready yet. So we are definitely down attendance-wise about 30%.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, and we've limited the class size to 11
Yeah.
versus we usually could hold about 23. But it's working. We keep the doors open. You can come to yoga, take your class, and leave and not touch anything because we have the doors open now that it's still warm out.
Right. Oh, that's nice.
So you wear a mask, you go to your mat, take your class, put your mask back on, and leave, and you don't really have to touch a thing if you don't need to use the restroom.
I'm curious, do you have a fantasy fitness trip? Like, are you interested in climbing Mount Everest, or maybe you already have? What's your dream goal of, I want to get away and do this?
Probably at some point I'd like to take another yoga retreat,
Yeah.
take my time picking one out. I've done a few of those and I do like them because I do get to just then bring everything back in. Because both of my jobs, a lot of my energy is going out, and it is for everybody else. So yeah, when things settle down with everything, probably a nice yoga retreat.
Yeah. Is that something like you would do in the country, or do you leave and go travel?
I've gone to Costa Rica. I would probably stay in the country.
Okay.
There's a husband and wife that have a nice studio compound, if you will, in New Mexico that's kind of on my list.
Yeah.
But I would be very careful in picking out exactly what I wanted to do and for how long so that I was sure that I was going to enjoy it.
Cool. You're on the square constantly, literally running back and forth between two stores. What are some of the things that you love about Medina or the square, or just kind of the experience or the life that you have here?
Definitely the close-knit community.
Yeah.
It's really nice. I was telling some of my employees, we know most of our customers. And we know their stories, and they really love that. So I love when, like this guy who came in today, right before I was going to come here, he was just telling me his whole life story. And he said, yeah, I told my son, do not buy on Amazon because those people at Second Soul are so nice. You need to buy at Second Soul. So we have a nice reputation. And we're running nerds over there, so we get really excited about you coming in and what you're going to buy. You can come and see, like, 3 of us, if we're not busy, we'll sit around and help you figure out what shoe. Because we're such nerds, we're interested in seeing what you're going to get. So I love that about it. And I've been here so long that it does feel like home. And I know what my students sound like when they come in the studio. I know what their keys sound like and what their mat sounds like and what their steps. My friend walked in and I heard a sigh. I'm like, oh, that's Bonnie. So I'm pretty connected with everybody.
Sure, that's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
For the yoga studio, like, what are the general hours? Can someone take yoga at 6 in the morning or 10 at night? How does that work?
It's a little diverse. I only have one very early morning. It's Thursdays at 5:45 a.m.
That's early.
Yeah. But
That's
it's for
really
people.
Early.
It's for people basically who work and don't live in Medina, so they need time to go home, shower, and get out of town, for the most part.
Sure.
And then the rest of them, I have one that starts at 8:30, and then 9:15, 10 o'clock. The last one is at 10, and this varies from day to day. And then we start up again around 5 in the afternoon, and we have 2 or 3 classes depending on the evening. I've cut about 7 or 8 classes out of the schedule since COVID.
Yeah.
I think we were at about 28, now we're at 22.
Do you teach all those yourself?
No, I have a really nice, diverse team of teachers who all have a little something different to offer. That's why, like I said earlier, we offer the 1 week, so you can try different people with different areas of expertise.
What's the easiest way, or what's the website? What's the best way for people to find out about Half Moon Yoga? We'll start there.
Definitely start with hmyoga.org. Read around. If you're brand new and you still have some questions, I get lots of phone calls, and I love to talk people through their first visit, kind of, again, guide them in the right direction for the right class. So my phone number and my email are both on the website.
So hmyoga.org. Okay, and then what about Second Soul?
Second Soul, same thing, secondsoulohio.com. You could email me directly from the website, or call me.
Or just come in the store.
Or just come in the store.
All right. Well, Joanie, thank you so much. It's been great talking to you, learning a little bit more about your story. Thanks.
All right, thanks.